Welcome viewers and subscribers to another program. On this week's program, we want to look at the Maroon community and what's been happening with them. In recent weeks, there have been clashes and upheavals, so we want to take a closer look at that community.
We're here to represent a culture, we're here to represent a people, we're here to represent a sovereignty that actually exists.
We also want to look at the genesis of this community and their claim to sovereignty. But before that, let's big up and honor all the frontline workers who have been working assiduously during this pandemic. So big respect to all you frontline workers. Bless up. Let's now check out the story surrounding the Maroon community.
Greetings. I'm Chief Richard Curry, duly elected leader of the indigenous Maroon people of the Cockpit Country. I'm a humble countryman, raised in rural Jamaica, among a unique set of tribal people residing in the hills of the Cockpit Country. My people bravely defended Jamaica against colonization and defended the right of Aboriginal people in Jamaica to govern ourselves and our own land, in Jamaica land we love. I've never been a criminal or involved in any kind of violent activity nor organized crime. I'm not a gang member, and there are no gangs in my territory. This land of my people is ours, and ours alone.
Armed police officers and Maroons from a compound in St. Elizabeth locked in a standoff on Wednesday.
Lower your gun. Lower your gun. Lower your gun. Please exit. Please exit. No. Please exit.
What we now want is our true game. Our true game at economics, our true game at commerce that existed prior to the treaty.
I think the government have some serious decision to make. Grant them their sovereignty. I have no problem with them being a sovereign state. But with that comes some responsibility, because the rest of the nation cannot fund your ways and means and living. Our tax dollars cannot fix your road. You cannot get sick and come to our hospitals. You cannot call on our emergency services when in need, because you are a sovereign nation and you are responsible for yourself. So the government need to now start looking at this sovereign nation and starting to require some documents, their own identification, their own passports, etc. Queen Nanny was an 18th century leader of the Jamaican Maroons. She led a community of formerly enslaved Africans called the Windward Maroons. In the early 18th century, under the leadership of Nanny, the Windward Maroons fought a guerrilla warfare over many years against the British authorities in the colony of Jamaica. Much of what is known about her comes from oral history, as little textual evidence exists. According to Maroon legend, Queen Nanny was born in what is today Ghana of the Ashanti people. During the years of warfare, the British suffered significant losses in their encounters with the Windward Maroons of eastern Jamaica. Maroons attributed their success against the British to the successful use of supernatural powers by Nanny. But historians argue that the Maroon mastery of guerrilla warfare played a significant role in their success. Having failed to defeat them on the battlefield, the British sued for peace, signing a treaty with them on April 20, 1740. The treaty stopped the hostilities, providing for state-sanctioned freedom for the Maroons, and granted 500 acres of land to Nanny and her followers. In 1975, the government of Jamaica declared Nanny as their only female national hero, celebrating her success as a leader, military tactician, and strategist. Her image is also on the Jamaican $500 note. After being brought to Jamaica in the course of the transatlantic slave trade, many enslaved Africans fled the oppressive conditions of plantations and formed their own communities of free black people in Jamaica in the rugged hilly interior of the island. Up to the 1650s, under Spanish rule, enslaved Africans escaped and intermarried with the native islanders, the Taino or Arawak people, in their communities in the Blue Mountains. In 1655, following the invasion of Jamaica, the English captured Jamaica from the Spaniards, but many Spanish slaves became free under Spanish Maroon leaders such as Juan de Bolas and Juan de Saras. These formerly enslaved people, with their ranks enhanced with the escaped and liberated slaves. became the core of the Windward Maroons. They staged a prolonged fight against English subjugation and enslavement. Later in the 17th century, more slaves escaped, joining the two main bands of Windwards and Leeward Maroons. By the early 18th century, these Maroon towns were headed respectively by Nanny, who shared the leadership of the Eastern Maroons with Quao, and Captain Kojo and Akompong in the west. In 1739 and 1740, these Maroons led most of the slave rebellions in Jamaica, helping to free slaves from the plantations they raided and then damaged lands and buildings held by the plantation owners. The Windward Maroons' success against a much superior and better armed enemy was a testament to the great skill their leader Nanny possessed. One of their advantages over the British was their long-range communications capability. They pioneered the use of a cow horn called an abeng. In signing treaties with the Maroons, the British not only made a truce with a troublesome foe, but also enlisted that foe in capturing runaway slaves. The colonial authorities initially recognized two Maroon towns, Crawfordstown and Kojostown, later to be renamed Trelawney Town. Eventually, there were 5 Maroon towns in the 18th century: Akompong Town, Trelawney Town, Charlestown, Scotsall, and Nanny Town, later Moortown. Living under their own chiefs with a British supervisor in each town, in exchange they agreed not to harbor new runaway slaves, but to help catch them for bounties. During Taki's War, which the Maroons helped to suppress, the first official reference to Moortown in the colonial records was in 1760. I know I may lose some friends over my following statements, but you see, once the truth is my friend, I don't give a kick who want to stay or who want to go. Truth is truth, and we must not be biased against truth. We can have our biases because we're all human beings, and we love to have our own ways and means and our own opinions, and that's okay. But truth is truth. Now, I question the heroism of Nanny of the Maroons and Kojo. Well, Kojo is not yet named a national hero, but there were calls for this man to be called a national hero. These people were runaway slaves, and they fought valiantly against the British, and the British could not win them over. So the British had to go and make a treaty with them, and that's cool. We respect them for that. But the treaty they made with the British, and get this now, they were contracted to catch other runaway slaves and bring them back to the plantations. You see, the people who were talking about Shaka Zulu and this and that. Shaka Zulu was a murderer. Shaka Zulu killed more of his people than anything. Shaka Zulu wanted to control the entire African continent. And what he did was go around and kill tribes, kill people of other tribes that doesn't see to his ways and wills. And we are venerating such a person? Huh? Really? Hero status? Something must be wrong with me, but I have a serious problem with that. Nanny could never be a hero for me, or a heroine, because she's a traitor to the black race. So for the government to bestow upon her national hero status, may have a serious problem with that. Of a person who ran away as a slave, found a community, fight back against the oppressors. Now the oppressors cannot defeat you, so they come to you with a treaty. And your treaty, the treaty with you is that you catch the other runaway slaves and bring them back. And me must venerate you, me must see you and respect you and call you a hero? I think not. I think not. It is so sad that people can't really put this into focus. Yes, we respect that she was brilliant and a mastermind in strategies and plans in repelling the Europeans. But for her to go and sign a treaty with the enemy, to now capture your own black people who are trying to get the same thing that you did, run away to be free, and you are a hero, I cannot consider you a hero. Not in this day and life. They taught us in school that these are the 7 hero or 6 hero and 1 heroine, and yeah, but you don't know the history, and that's why some of these histories need to be taught more and more to the younger folks so they can have an opinion for themselves and not foist anything on. Everybody have an opinion, that's fine, but truth is truth. This woman was really not deserving of heroism status. No, not in my book. That's what I have to say. Leave your comments, subscribe, click like, share, or even dislike. Peace out until next week.